Queen's retribution. Queen Camilla is said to prevail where Harry and Meghan fail pitifully. Dishes are bound to fly in Montecito. Greetings and a very warm welcome. Well, you know what they say, living properly is truly the best retribution. And now it sounds like Queen Camilla is going to get her retribution on Harry and Meghan for everything they have said about her. I mean, Harry really went after her in spare in an unfair way. He claimed that she was his evil stepmother, that she was the one responsible for leaking all kinds of negative stories about him to the press. Harry even wrote that she had sacrificed him on her PR altar. Of course, Camilla knows better than to respond to Harry. She doesn't want to be dragged down into that pit of despair. But it sounds like success is going to be her mode of retribution. According to The Express, Queen Camilla's perfect retribution on embarrassed Meghan Markle after new venture. Queen Camilla has launched a new podcast that experts believe will blow the Duchess of Sussex's cancel project out of the water. On Monday, January 8th, Queen Camilla officially launched her first podcast, The Reading Room. Now it's a companion to her book club. And she doesn't host the show herself, but she does join in during some episodes. The episodes feature discussions between Queen Camilla and a lot of high-profile guests. Does it remind you of anything? Let's remember Meghan Markle had a podcast series as well. She was the host, and it featured a collection of discussions between herself and high-profile guests too. But the problem with Meghan's little podcast series is, she wouldn't let her guests get a word in edgewise. She just had to make it all about her. And the fact is, Meghan Markle is not all that interesting. That's a fact that she doesn't seem to be able to accept. But everybody else can see clearly. Now, according to everybody who has met her, Queen Camilla is bound to do a lot better in this area because she actually enjoys spending time with other people. I believe she has a pretty good personality. Apparently, she has a really good sense of humor. And considering that Queen Camilla is not nearly as fame-hungry as Meghan, I'm sure that she'll allow her guests a chance to shine. I mean, Queen Camilla definitely is a public figure. She gets a lot of media attention, but I never thought that's the reason she is with Charles. I think she really loves him. She doesn't mind being in the limelight because it comes along with being his wife. But at the same time, she doesn't seek it like Meghan Markle does. Predictably, people are already comparing Queen Camilla's podcast to Meghan Markle's, and the differences are pretty obvious. One commentator, Denise Palmer Davies, the director of Vor Media, said, "After all the hurtful things Harry has said about Camilla, she has finally got her own back on them. If her podcast does well, and I am sure it will, she will have achieved in an area they so desperately wanted to succeed in. Then that is the perfect retribution." And she is absolutely right. The funny thing to me too is that Queen Camilla doesn't have to try so hard. I mean, I think she's just herself. Honestly, Queen Camilla does not strike me as the type of woman who tries really hard at anything. I believe at this point in her life, she is comfortable with who she is. She knows her strengths, she knows her weaknesses, and I suspect she has kind of a take-it-or-leave-it approach. She worked very hard to improve her reputation with the British public. And at this point, I don't think she is very worried about the people who still hate her. Meghan, on the other hand, is obsessed with this idea that everybody has got to love her. She needs to be adored. She is so desperate for that. The commentator went on to say, "I bet Meghan in particular will be livid over the whole thing, and probably a bit embarrassed that hers fell at the first hurdle." You know, Camilla's podcast series also sounds a lot more interesting. It's going to feature guests such as Joanna Lumley, Ian Rankin, David Baddiel, and Ela Shafak. Now, to be fair, Meghan Markle also had interesting guests on her show. But the problem was we didn't hear from them. We just heard about Meghan because she can't really allow anybody else to shine. She always had to bring the topic back to herself and tell her stupid stories to try to one-up her guests. I don't believe Queen Camilla is going to make the same mistake. Queen Camilla is also very passionate about reading. She loves books. Meghan is only passionate about herself, and she only created that stupid Archetypes podcast series because she had a contract to fulfill. She was trying to make money. She was thinking about what kind of podcast series could possibly succeed. Of course, she was wrong, but that again is because she's so incredibly out of touch. Personally, I'm looking forward to reading the reviews of Queen Camilla's podcast series and looking at the numbers, because I don't think it takes a genius to predict that her show is going to be much more successful than Archetypes. Truly the most delicious form of retribution. All right, my friends, and now discussion time. Today we're going to be talking about the comments that you all left in response to the video. Hilarious clapback from mortified Meghan. Too busy to attend Golden Globes? Yeah, right. In this video, we talked about the claim that Meghan was invited to the Golden Globes. She just couldn't come because of previous commitments. What those previous commitments are, we have no idea. But we do know this story is a big pile of BS. There's no way she was invited. Let's see what you all had to say. First comment. The comment that really made me chuckle is from Linda Ovenstone. Linda says, I'm sure Meghan could have rescheduled her car park appearances to attend the Golden Globes. Everybody knows she would turn up to the opening of a fridge door. And then Kim is laughing in response. Yeah, Linda, I mean, come on. Nobody is believing this story that Meghan Markle just chose not to attend. This is the kind of event that she lives for. She is desperate to score invitations. I simply do not believe she would have turned it down. I mean, maybe she did because Harry refused to go with her, and she didn't want to be embarrassed by showing up alone. But even then, I don't know. Something tells me Meghan Markle is not easily embarrassed. In fact, if Meghan Markle were somebody who is easily embarrassed, I don't believe she'd be doing the majority of the stuff we see her doing. Next up, a very astute comment from Kate London. Kate says, Meghan Markle is reminding me of this narcissist I used to know. Whenever I wanted to find out the truth of anything that was going on she was involved in, I'd ask her for her version. Then I'd just naturally switch it around to whatever is the opposite of that. And that always turned out to be the real story. It never occurred to me she would ever tell the truth. So for sure, Meghan Markle wasn't invited to the Golden Globes, mainly because she said she was. Very good point, Kate. I think we can usually do the same thing with Meghan Markle. And that's why, it's so funny to me when I come across these puff pieces that clearly came from Meghan Markle, or articles about Meghan, where they're quoting a source who talks about how great and wonderful she is. And it's so obvious that the source is Meghan Markle herself. That woman is so delusional. Next up, a very interesting opinion from Tiglethpilser. I respectfully disagree. I appreciate that the Golden Globes award show is not a parking lot. But Markle turned down the invite if there was even an invite for the following reasons. 1. The cast members could not stand her and did not want her around to steal their thunder. Could be. 2. Markle did not want to be around the real stars of the show, like she did not want to be with Catherine. That is a good point you're making. 3. Markle did not want to be in an event where she is the butt of the jokes. She could not stomach the idea of the entire room laughing at her. And then Rhea Johnson responds, Meghan Markle will become insane if she doesn't get help screaming and grabbing sleeves. It's a scary idea, isn't it? And Kim agrees. This is an interesting theory that you're proposing. I kind of could believe it, honestly. You are right in that Meghan is not somebody who can laugh at herself. And if she got wind that she and Harry were going to be made fun of at the Golden Globes, then I do believe she would avoid showing up altogether rather than face that. Can you imagine after that joke was told them panning on Meghan's face? There is no way she would be able to keep that knock mask on. It would certainly slip and she would show her true demonic self, and I agree with you. We need to remember how Meghan acted when she had to be around Catherine for the late Queen's funeral. She was scared out of her mind. She did not want to have to face Catherine after everything she had said about her. See, even though Meghan likes to talk a big talk, when it comes to walking the walk, not so much. Instead, she prefers to just launch her grenades from a distance and then watch the destruction. I believe she knows that if she were to come head-to-head with one of her enemies, they would absolutely destroy her, and she can't have that. All right, my friends, that is all the time that we have for now. So tell me what you think about Queen Camilla's new podcast. Do you agree with the predictions that it's going to blow Meghan Markle's Archetype series out of the water? Please let me know your opinion below in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, Please don't hesitate to like and share it with your friends and family members who would enjoy it as well. If you haven't already, don't forget to click that subscribe button so that you don't miss a single update. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you taking the time to view this video. Please leave a like if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing for more similar content. Wishing you all the best in 2024. May it be a year of health, happiness, and prosperity. Take care.